it's become fashionable again. Not to live here. It's become fashionable to meet here, to drink here, to eat here, and also to spend ridiculous amounts of money at some of the shops in St Andrew's Square and Maltrees Walk, Harvey Nichols, Louis Vuitton, Hugo Boss, those sort of shops. We're going to turn to our left here and into South St David Street. On the other side of the road is Rose Street, which is a much more sort of sensible little shopping street. Rose Street is a lane, basically, which leads from the East End to the West End, or the West End to the East End, depending on what you want. It goes all the way from here to its partner square in the West End, Charlotte Square. And it's worth the walk down. It's got some lovely, lovely shops. It's got some lovely pubs and restaurants and bars. Now, turning to our right-hand side into South St David Street, on the other side of the road is the Scott Monument, 200 feet and 6 inches tall, 288 steps to the top, built to the memory of Sir Walter Scott, famous Scottish writer and poet and lawyer and judge. Now, if you look at the Scott Monument, it might remind you of something. There was a competition, excuse me just a second. Thank you. There was a competition at the Edinburgh Festival a few years ago for poets who were working at the festival to write a poem about the city, and the competition was won by a poet called John Hegley from Luton. This poem was, "The Scott Memorial is something to see. It looks a lot like Thunderbird 3, which is quite ironic when all's said and done, because Scott was the pilot of Thunderbird 1. There you go. We're going to turn to our left here and into Princes Street. The monument is closed at the moment because of COVID, and that reminds me, I really have to make the announcement of the Scottish Government advice at the moment, because Scotland is now the main country in Europe for COVID cases. We're right at the top of the list. Scottish Government advice is that face coverings must be worn on this vehicle. Although the rules have changed elsewhere in the UK, face coverings remain mandatory on all public transport in Scotland. Others around you may be exempt from wearing a face covering. We would ask that you show kindness, consideration and respect to your fellow passengers. This bus receives an enhanced clean each day, and if you have any questions about our methods for trying to keep all of our passengers and all of our staff safe, then please ask any member of our team. Thank you. On your right hand side is Waverley Railway Station, opened in 1846 as the North British Railway Station. This hotel opened in 1902 as the North British Hotel. Now if you look up at the clock in the clock tower and look at your watch, you'll see that the clock is at least 3 minutes fast, and that was to try to encourage people to hurry for their trains, to make them think they were going to be late. Obviously, as a railway hotel, they had a vested interest in making sure people got their trains, so this was their method of fooling them into hurrying. It closed in the 1980s as the North British Hotel and opened again in 1991, rebranded and with a new owner, Sir Rocco Forte, as the Balmoral Hotel. And Sean Connery, Edinburgh-born actor who of course died last year, Sean Connery carried out the opening ceremony when the hotel reopened in 1991. It's one of the world's top 10 hotels, they keep telling us, so we just have to believe them. It's a 5-star hotel, it's wonderful inside and out. Do go in and have a look if you're passing. On the left hand side, you might be staying there, I don't know. On the left hand side is Register House. Register House designed by Robert Adam, and it was built between 1774 and 1789. It took 15 years to build it because they ran out of money. Now, coming into Waterloo Place, named for the Battle of Waterloo, and it's also called the Regent Bridge. Up on your right hand side is the old Calton burial ground with the grave of the great philosopher David Hume, the Martyrs Monument Memorial, and the oldest statue of Abraham Lincoln outside the United States for the many Scots who fought in the American Civil War. There are 6 American Civil War graves up there on your right-hand side. The first building you come to here on the right-hand side now is St Andrew's House, opened the day after war broke out in September 1939, designed by Thomas Tate, who also designed the pylons on the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You need to see this building from the other side to get the full idea of how magnificent it is. And we're coming to bus stop number 2 for Cotton Hill. Now, if anybody would like bus stop number 2, Cotton Hill on the left, if you stamp your feet or ring the bell now, anyone for number 2? No one for bus stop number 2, Miro, thank you. Great views into the park. On your left-hand side, we have the old Royal High School building, opened in 1829, designed by Thomas Hamilton. It was the high school until 1968, since when this building has been lying empty, which strikes me as being crazy. On your right-hand side, the temple is also by Thomas Hamilton, and it's for Robert Burns, Scotland's national poet, who lived from 1759 to 1796. On your left, the Stars and Stripes, that's number 3, Regent Terrace, the American Consulate. The original American Consulate opened in Leith, in the north of the city at 1 James Place in 1778, making it just about the oldest American consulate in the world. Harry Grant from South Carolina was the first